This is The Minimum Commitment, film theory in small doses, where the quiet streets of suburbia can be the most dangerous places, and safety is just a story we tell ourselves. I'm Don Lawler, film scholar, decibel necromancer, and someone who triple checks the closet after watching anything by John Carpenter. Let's get into it. In 1978, an unknown filmmaker took a cast of relative unknowns, a shoestring budget, and a borrowed William Shatner mask, and redefined what horror could be. Wide shots that force an audience to search the frame, silence that vibrates with tension, a score so simple it becomes inescapable. Historically, horror movies often came with a warning. Thunder, Gothic arches, fog and candlelight. You knew you were in danger because the setting told you so. Think of Dracula, The Haunting, or any Hammer horror film, shot on sound stages with Baroque lighting and theatrical dread. Horror lived in other worlds. Castles, crypts, and cursed bloodlines. John Carpenter's Halloween did something unquestionably more terrifying. It brought the fear home. To tree-lined streets, manicured lawns, and white picket fences. To quiet, comfortable homes. To the places we were told were safe. Carpenter wielded the camera like a scalpel, dissecting each scene with meticulous care. In the opening shot, he introduces us to a mysterious figure, someone shrouded in ambiguity, whom we will never fully understand no matter how closely we observe. Michael Myers, a child once, full of innocence and wonder, now a haunting shape, silent, faceless, relentless in presence, locked away, burdened by the weight of an act of unspeakable violence that changed everything. For 15 years, Michael silently waited for opportunity to come knocking. Then, the night before Halloween, he escapes from his confinement. However, his intention is not to run away forever, but to return to where he began, driven by an unseen purpose or destiny. To the house where it happened. To the town that forgot. In the opening scene, we view through Michael's perspective, feeling the violence as if we are the ones enacting it. The scene is shot in a continuous, uncut take. We are not merely observing the violence, we are involved in it. In a cinematic timeline, the idea that terror belonged somewhere else was already beginning to erode. Fear was getting closer. It crept in gradually. Psycho made the private sanctuary of the bathroom suddenly feel menacing and unsafe. Jaws transformed a simple day at the beach into a heart-pounding death trap. Black Christmas introduced a killer lurking silently in the attic during the seemingly peaceful holiday season. Following this darkening trend, Friday the 13th continued to push horror into the summer camp, targeting innocent children and teenagers. And then came Freddy Krueger, who didn't need your bathroom, your beach, your attic, or your campfire. He came for your dreams. Each film or franchise gradually dismantled the illusion that horror was confined to distant, unfamiliar places. Instead, they revealed that fear could be found nearby, manifesting in subtle, quiet ways within our own homes and everyday environments. But Halloween brought a new sense of clarity. Carpenter stripped away the legends, the fog machines, the superstition. He brought horror into the daylight, into the cul-de-sac, into the house next door. No more ancient rituals or foreign invaders, just a babysitter, a neighborhood, and the shape. John Carpenter's 1978 masterpiece revolutionized the horror genre, not by revealing everything, but by suggesting just enough to leave a lasting impression and ignite our imagination. It's often the unseen, the subtle hints and shadows that haunt us long after the screen goes dark. Halloween's brilliance is rooted in its simplicity. It relies on minimal elements to accomplish so much. Carpenter works with long takes, steady shots, and a score made from 5 piano notes. He keeps the frame uncluttered, purposefully guiding the viewer's eye, calming the pace, and subtly inviting suspicion. Carpenter uses space like a trap. Whether it's a hedgerow, a schoolyard, or a hallway, ordinary places that unexpectedly feel too exposed. In one scene, Laurie, played with convincing endangerment by Jamie Lee Curtis, is attacked by Michael. She fights back and stumbles away, collapsing in a doorway. Behind her, just out of focus, Michael's body lies still. Curtis doesn't overplay the moment. She lets the shock settle in, lets us believe, just for a second, that it might be over. The stillness of the scene forces us to do the work, to scan and feel the threat before the character does. Her breathing slows, her guard lowers, and in that space between panic and relief, the real horror creeps back in. Michael sits up, slow, mechanical, and dreadfully uncanny. He turns his head and looks directly at her. Laurie never sees it, but we do, and that gap between what she knows and what we know creates unbearable tension. In that moment, the film triggers a physiological response. Our bodies tense, our breath catches, because we know something Laurie doesn't. That tension holds, sustained by Carpenter's framing, by the stillness of the shot, and by the pounding single-note piano score that won't let up. Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't act afraid. She manifests fear, exhaustion in her limbs, panic in her breath, disbelief etched into every movement. It's not performance for the camera. It's survival made visible. She's a teenage girl trying not to die. What makes Halloween work is form and setting. The film takes place in Haddonfield, Illinois, a fictional suburb designed to feel like yours. Sidewalks, laundry lines, lockstep houses with trimmed yards. It's a place that teaches you to feel safe, to trust routine, to believe that fear lives elsewhere. And that's what makes the film so effective. Michael Myers doesn't come from the shadows. He doesn't descend from legend. He's not summoned from hell. He walks out of the house next door. Michael is not a supernatural force. He's a product of the very place he haunts, a quiet suburb that values conformity, order, and silence. The film never explicitly states this, but the pattern is unmistakable. Michael doesn't kill randomly. Instead, he targets those who threaten to expose or disrupt the fragile illusion of moral order that holds the community together. It's easy to read him as pure evil, but he's also a kind of cinematic reckoning. He reflects the fears that small towns carry but refuse to name. There's one moment in the film that's quiet and simple, but chilling. Laurie steps into her bedroom. A breeze pushes the curtains inward through the open window. Outside, white sheets twist on the laundry line, caught in the same invisible current. Laurie looks out her window, and between two sheets, perfectly still, Michael, watching. She looks again. Gone. What makes this scene so unsettling isn't violence. It's a violation of a fundamental idea, that the home is a sanctuary, a safe base where rules from childhood still offer protection and security. The scene chips away at this comforting belief, revealing how fragile and porous that sense of safety can be. As kids, we played tag with the understanding that once you touched base, you were safe. No one could reach you. You could rest. But Halloween exposes the lie. There is no base. There is no immunity. And a monster, a real monster, doesn't give a damn about your preconceived notions. Michael crosses thresholds without permission, moves from backyard to bedroom as easily as day into night. The safety of daylight, the barrier of walls, the comfort of conformity, none of it matters. In Halloween, the fear that permeates the film isn't that the monster might come in. It's that he's already inside the fences. Film scholar Carol J. Clover coined the term final girl to describe characters like Laurie, the last woman standing in a slasher film. In Halloween, Laurie is not just the last one alive. She is the first to notice something is wrong. She's observant, cautious, and reluctant to party while others indulge. And when the threat arrives, she runs. She also hides, listens, and adapts. She learns what the monster doesn't, that closets can become traps, that knitting needles can become weapons. She learns the shape of the threat. And when no one comes to save her, she saves herself. Clover's point isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. She argues that the final girl survives by crossing into a space the genre codes as masculine. Rationality, vigilance, and the willingness to fight back. Not because women lack these traits, but because horror cinema, especially in the 70s and 80s, rarely allowed them to thrive as women. So, to live, Laurie must step outside the role assigned to her by the world around her. The good girl, the babysitter, the target, and become something else. Something the monster didn't expect. Something about Halloween lingers to this day. Maybe because it's so understated, so quiet, so normal that it feels like it could be happening on your street. But it also lingers because it's proof that great horror doesn't need studio money. It needs a vision, a voice, and a courageous camera that isn't afraid to capture the unsettling details. It's a testament to independent filmmaking. How limitation sharpens creativity, and how fear becomes more real when it's made with less. Carpenter didn't build a monster. He uncovered one. In the streets. In the home. In the silence we mistake for peace. Halloween shatters the illusion of safety. And once it's broken, you never quite get it back. That's your thought for the day. Minimum commitment, maximum meaning. See you next time. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Don Lawler. Music by Don Lawler.